So anybody who watched the Lakers game the other night, they saw Steph Curry bury the Lakers. The biggest thing that I've noticed from Steph Curry, I don't know if a lot of y'all pay attention to basketball, like what a lot of the people in the media say and how the players respond to it. But there's been a lot of chatter about how Steph Curry, he's not the guy. He's one of those MVPs, he's one of those championships. Yet, the Warriors took a step back and everything like that. The thing about Steph Curry that I think a lot of people have to understand is that the reason for why a lot of people were talking about that at all from Steph Curry was because you see the way Steph Curry has been playing recently, dude. Like Steph Curry, he's been carrying that Warriors team. Now, mind you, James Wiseman, the emergence of James Wiseman actually playing like a number 2 overall pick has helped. The role players have stepped up. They had a big win against the Lakers the other day. Steph hit that clutch 3. But this is what we wanted to see from Steph last year. When KD left and there was no Clay, it was just him and Draymond. We wanted to see, all right, Steph, it's pretty much all you. Go do it. He couldn't do it. Steph is doing. I think we all knew Steph was capable of playing like this, but we wanted to see it from, like, we almost had to like drag it out of Steph, and we almost had to be like, we know how good you are. Do it on a nightly basis. You can't coast. And I think that's one thing with Steph is that he's been so used to coasting because he had those years with Kevin Durant. He's had Clay. You know what? We wanted to see Steph go out and do it night in and night out, and he is doing it. Now, the problem is, will this be sustainable for Steph to the point where if he gets them to the playoffs, are they going to bow out in the first round because Steph runs out of gas? We're going to have to wait and see. They had a big win the other night. Obviously, LeBron became under 5-second LeBron once again, bricking the game winner. But the Lakers are still probably the favorite to win the West, so we're not even going to get into that. I'm happy for Steph. Steph has proven the haters wrong, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Steph is that Warriors team, even with KD and all that, they don't win that title without Steph. They don't win all of the championships without Steph. I think Steph is kind of like, and I mean no disrespect by saying this, and it's probably a bad analogy, but I don't really have a better analogy I can come up with. He's kind of like on that Raptors team that won the championship. He's Kyle Lowry, and again, that's not a bad thing, but he's like a better version of Kyle Lowry in that he's the leader. That team runs behind him. The offense really runs behind him. But at the same time, he's also one of the best scorers on the team. He's a very underrated defender. He can go in and score in the paint. So I think that all this stuff that's been thrown at Steph, oh, he's not the guy, he can't win with this team. Well, yeah, damn, dude, no one can win. Like it's really difficult for anyone not named LeBron James to win in this league because he's surrounded himself obviously with a lot of talent, and other teams as well have surrounded themselves with immense talent, and the Warriors were one of those teams. So I don't think it's a matter of, is Steph capable of winning a ring? Yeah, I think the bigger question is, are the Warriors with this nucleus with unfortunately Klay Thompson, like we just don't know where he's going to be at, after another unfortunate leg injury. We don't know where he's going to be at in his career. James Wiseman, he's still very young, a rookie. We're going to see what happens in his development. And are the guys that they have around him capable of helping this team win, getting to the play? And it depends on what you mean by winning. They can get to the playoffs, I think, but are they going to do anything when they get there? Are they going to get past the second round? I doubt it. Because it's just, there's only so far you can go in today's NBA with that one dominant player. And when that one dominant player isn't someone who is a freak of nature like LeBron James, who can make a team like the trash Cleveland Cavaliers in the East into a championship appearance team, I don't know. I don't think Steph, unfortunately, is in the position where he can do that. And I'm not trying to compare him to LeBron in that sense. I'm trying to say that, it's just the position he plays is different. His skill set is different. And playing in the West right now is just totally different than playing in the East.
But that's where it starts. And that's where the criticism starts of Steph, which is we've established, not just us, but it's pretty much been established, dude, that big men are obsolete. Your traditional big men in today's game are obsolete. It's more of a guard-oriented league. Yeah. So it begins and starts with your guards.
This is a guy that's like one of the big reasons for that, by the way.
Right. This is a guy that we consider one of the top guards, not just in the NBA, but of all time. So when you have that type of title and you have that type of reputation, we want to see you almost like prove it. Like we're seeing him do it now. We're seeing him do it now where he's going out, dropping 40 and leading them to wins. He's doing it every night. But the fact that he has to expend that much, this is what we meant by, when we saw him not do this last year, and then there's a lot of people who have speculated that he didn't get injured. A lot of people think he quit on the team because he saw them going nowhere.
I mean, the dude broke his hand. I think it was pretty evident that
right.
happened. But
regardless, when you have that type of reputation of being, people have called him an all-time great. If you're an all-time great, dude, you got to show out. You can't just, I have made comparisons when a lot of people were bashing Steph. I've been like, I have said stuff about Allen Iverson. The Allen Iverson thing is not saying, Allen Iverson skill set is better than Steph's. That's not what we're referring to. We're referring to that team that Allen Iverson took to the finals in 2001 and the teams that he had to go through to get to the finals. Could Steph do that? And we're seeing Steph right now. He's pretty much giving it his all every night, which this is what we wanted to see. We wanted him to prove it. Yeah. I don't think Steph wanted to necessarily do that because he's been so used to the marathon, saving himself for the playoffs, but we almost had to drag this stuff out of Steph. And he's proving himself to be an all-time great, but we're going to see, does Steph run out of gas during the playoffs? And this is why another comparison I made was, if you remember those teams Chris Paul had when it was literally just Chris Paul by himself in New Orleans. Before Chris Paul asked out, he had the trade that was vetoed to the Lakers and he ended up going to the Clippers. This is what we saw out of Chris Paul all those years in New Orleans, where it was literally Chris Paul and maybe like a 24-year-old Tyson Chandler with a bunch of aging veterans as the number one seed in the Western Conference playoffs, going in and taking the Spurs dynasty to 7 games in the first round.
Don't you dare sit there and slander my boy Chris Kaman like that.
I'm not going to slander him at all. The point we're trying to make was Steph. We're putting Steph in that category of all-time great. Now we want to see it. We just don't want to see, you could win the MVP, you could drop 30 when you got 2 other all-time greats next to you. We want to see you do it by yourself and lead to wins. That's why Allen Iverson and guys like Chris Paul.
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying entirely.
And he's doing it. And he's doing it.
Good. I think this season though we're really going to see. We shouldn't have had
to drag it out of him. We shouldn't have had to drag it out of him.
What do you mean drag it out of him?
Meaning the way there was all that slander and now he's clapping back. Like he's literally clapping back vocally. Like it shouldn't have had to take that for him to be the killer that we know he is.
The dude was injured last year. The season's just beginning. I think you're overreacting, quite frankly, just a little bit. I don't think it's as big of a deal as you're making it out to be, especially in Steph's eyes. I just think that the issue I think that you're also alluding to but not mentioning is the fact that a lot of the attention has shifted away from Steph, from in the NBA conversation in the past 2 seasons. Ever since they lost to the Raptors, team's been dealing with injuries. KD left. The spotlight's been shined on LA, Brooklyn, the Clippers in LA. The light's been shined other places, and you have people thriving like Luka Doncic and Trae Young on the come up as well. So I think the conversation in the NBA has just shifted away from Steph, and he just hasn't been a part of the conversation for so long that people's memories are short these days. People forget really how good he was, and it's not a thing of you have to drag it out of him. I think he's just doing what he does, and people are like, oh shit, yeah, that's Steph Curry. The question is this Steph Curry going to be enough for them to be competitive for a championship? I don't think so, especially not without Klay Thompson.
And that's more or less the point that we were trying to make, was because I try to stay away from Twitter beef, dude. There's been people who have been there.
No,
he's better than prime Chris Paul. I've been staying away, but there's people. He's better than prime Chris Paul. Allen Iverson doesn't match up. I'm like, listen, Allen Iverson took a team of. He took people like he had Mutombo. Okay. Mutombo averaged 8 points per game for his career. What kind of scoring are you getting from Mutombo? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're getting rebound, you're getting defense, but what are you getting offensively? You look at all those guys that Allen Iverson took to the finals. He took a bunch of no-name dudes. He took a bunch of scrappy dudes who were offensively challenged, where it was Allen Iverson dropping his 36 and then everybody else giving him 4, 6, 8, that kind of production. And we're like, all right, Steph, we've elevated you to the point where we're saying you're better than this guy. Well, go do what he did. Like
I
go
think
go
you're
do
just
exactly what
you
he did.
just I think you're just mad that AI never got a ring. I think that's
I
what this
am
comes down
very
to.
I am very pissed. I'm very pissed that AI was one of those players who deserved a ring. He went to Georgetown. He came from the bottom. He was from Virginia. He came from the bottom, single mother, went to Georgetown, drafted number 1 overall, won an MVP, took the damn Sixers to the finals and didn't win. I wanted that man to win the
And be
finals
like that.
MVP.
And we're
I
gonna
wanted to
see
win
if
a
Steph
finals and a finals MVP.
we're gonna see if Steph's capable of doing that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. For more content, please hit that notification bell, comment, subscribe, and everything like that. And just remember, keep it real.